Kalen Ward had walked the lower docks of Station Rydell 1,000 times. The metal walkways, the flickering lights, the hum of engines. Everything felt familiar, almost comforting. He worked long hours as an engineer, fixing systems no one else wanted to touch, and the lower docks were always the quietest place to breathe after a tiring day. But on this night, something felt different. There was a trembling sound in the air, soft, unsteady, like a breath held too long. He stopped near a stack of abandoned cargo crates. The sound came again. A quiet, shaky whimper. Kalen frowned and stepped closer, lowering himself so he could see behind the crates. His eyes adjusted to the dim blue lights of the dock. A small alien girl was curled into a ball. Her arms wrapped around her knees, her shoulders shaking. Her skin carried a faint glow, pale and flickering. As if it were fading by the second, she looked exhausted and frightened, dressed in thin travel cloth that barely covered her against the cold. She lifted her head when she sensed movement. Her eyes were large and shining, almost shimmering with fear. She whispered something in a soft voice that cracked halfway through. "Sorry. Please don't hurt me. I'll move. Just don't call security." Kalen raised both hands slowly, his voice warm and gentle. "I'm not calling anyone. Are you hurt?" She blinked, surprised he was speaking softly. "No. Just cold, and lost." She straightened but kept her legs close to her chest, as if unsure whether she should run or trust him. "My name is Lyra," she added quietly, as though giving her name was dangerous. Kalen crouched beside her. He noticed the thin tremble in her fingers and the way her glow dimmed whenever she exhaled. Illyrians were known for that glow. Their emotions appeared as light on their skin. Her fading glow meant fear, exhaustion, and something else he couldn't name. "What happened?" he asked gently. Lyra hesitated. She looked away, her glow flickering again. "My travel ship left without me. I got separated in the crowd. Someone stole my bag, my documents, everything. I tried asking for help, but—" Her voice cracked, and she shook her head. "My kind aren't supposed to ask strangers. It's shameful. They said I was irresponsible. They told me to fix my own mistake. And now—" She hugged her knees tighter. "I don't know what to do." Kalen felt a sting of anger, not at her, but at the world that left her alone like this. "How long have you been here?" "2 days," she whispered. "I thought maybe someone would help. But everyone just looked at me like I was trouble." Kalen slowly removed his engineer jacket, warm from his own body heat, and placed it around her shoulders. She startled at the gesture, her glow pulsing in confusion. "Why? Why would you do that?" she stammered. "You don't even know me." "You're cold," Kalen said simply. "And scared." "That's enough." Her eyes widened. She looked at him as if humans were some kind of mystery she'd never understood. "Most people walk away," she whispered. "They see an Illyrian alone and assume it's not their problem." Kalen gave a small, tired smile. "I've made enough mistakes in my life, Lyra. I'm not walking away from someone who needs help." She looked like she wanted to believe him, but fear had built walls around her heart. "I don't have credits," she said quietly. "I can't pay you. I can't offer anything. I'm just a stranded girl who made a mistake. You have no reason to help." Kalen felt something tug deep inside him, a memory he didn't want to remember. The day he failed to save his sister. The day he promised himself he would never ignore a cry for help again. He took a slow breath, then placed a steady hand over his chest. "Lyra," he said softly, "you don't need to give me anything. I'm helping because it's the right thing to do. And because—" He hesitated only a moment before finishing the words. "I promise I'll make you happy, no matter the cost. You're safe with me." Lyra froze completely. Her glow brightened, just slightly, as if she didn't understand what she had heard. Illyrian culture treated promises as sacred, binding, almost spiritual. A promise wasn't casual, it was a vow from one soul to another. For a human to make such a promise so easily stunned her. You shouldn't say that," she whispered. Illyrians believe promises cannot be broken. If you break it, your soul is marked in our beliefs. I meant it, Kaelin said without hesitation. Her lips trembled. She searched his face, trying to see any sign of dishonesty. There was none. Just quiet sincerity. A warmth she had not felt from anyone in a long time. She shivered again, looking overwhelmed. Come on, Callan said quietly. Let's get you somewhere warm. You can't stay here. Lyra hesitated. Conflict in her eyes. Her culture, her fear, her loneliness, they all pulled her in different directions. But the kindness in Kaelin's voice touched something inside her. Slowly, she nodded. He helped her stand, steadied her when her legs wobbled, and guided her down the dock's main path. She walked close beside him. Her small steps, shaky but determined. People stared at them, some with confusion, others with suspicion, but Callan ignored them all. Lyra kept her gaze down, hiding her glow under his jacket. They entered the elevator that led to the residential section. Lyra swallowed nervously. You're sure this is okay? I don't want to cause trouble. You're not causing trouble, Kaelin replied gently. You're cold, tired, and need a safe place. That's not trouble. When the doors opened, they stepped into Callan's modest apartment. It was small, only a single room with a bed, a foldable couch, a tiny kitchen space, and tools scattered everywhere. Lyra blinked at the mess, unsure if she should touch anything. Sorry about the place, Callan said, scratching the back of his neck. I work late, so I don't clean much. It's warm, she whispered. Her glow brightened just a little. Callan pointed to the bathroom. There's warm water. Clean up. Take your time. I'll heat something for you to eat. Lyra looked stunned again. You're really doing all this? I promised, didn't I? He said quietly. Her eyes softened, no longer only frightened, but confused and curious, maybe even hopeful. She walked into the bathroom slowly, as if each step tested whether this kindness was real. When the door closed, Callan let out a long breath, feeling the weight of the vow settle in his chest. He didn't regret it. He knew he meant every word. While she bathed, he prepared a small meal, simple reclaimed grain soup and warm bread. He didn't have much, but it was honest food. He even warmed a blanket in the drying coil, so she wouldn't feel cold. When Lyra emerged, she looked noticeably brighter. Her skin glowed softly now. A warm, gentle light. Her damp hair curled around her face. She held her hands together nervously. I hope it's okay. I used the soap, she murmured. That's what it's there for, Callan replied with a smile. Come, sit. You need to eat. She sat carefully at the small table, as if afraid to take more space than necessary. When he placed the food in front of her, she stared at it with wide eyes. I haven't eaten in 2 days, she admitted. I didn't know humans shared meals like this. Humans feed guests, Callan said. Especially when they need help. Lyra ate slowly at first, then a little faster as comfort returned to her tired body. Callan watched her quietly, his heart easing every time her glow brightened just a bit more. When she finished, she sighed in relief and rested her hands against the warm bowl. Thank you, she whispered. I don't understand why you're doing all this, but thank you. Callan leaned back in his chair. You look like someone who needed a friend. That's enough reason for me. Lyra wrapped her arms around herself, her glow dimming to a soft, emotional warmth. I never thought I'd meet someone like you. Humans are always rushing, always busy. But you stopped for me. Someone had to, he said softly. She gazed at him for a long moment. Your promise? You really meant it? I don't make promises lightly, Callan replied. Her glow brightened once again, this time with something gentle and fragile, like the first hint of trust. She looked down, smiling softly. No one has ever promised me happiness before. Callan felt something shift inside him, a quiet protectiveness, strong and certain. Then maybe it's time someone did. Lyra's eyes glistened with unspoken emotion. She touched the jacket he'd given her earlier and held it close. I don't know what my future is now, she whispered. But, for the first time, I don't feel alone. Callan nodded. You're not alone anymore. She looked around the small apartment again, then back at him. With a quiet voice, she asked, Where should I sleep? Callan gestured toward the bed. You take it. I'll sleep on the couch. Her glow flickered in worry. I don't want to take your place. You're my guest, he said firmly, and you need rest. She hesitated, then nodded gratefully. As she lay down, she pulled the warm blanket over herself and curled into it like someone who hadn't felt softness in years. Her glow spread across the blanket, lighting the room gently. Callan turned off the main lights and sat on the couch, watching the soft glow of her peaceful breathing. She already looked safer, calmer, almost hopeful. For the first time in a long while, Callan felt like he had done something truly meaningful. He didn't know what challenges would come next. He didn't know what the cost of his promise would be, but he knew one thing with absolute certainty: he would keep his word, no matter what. Callan woke early the next morning. Though he had barely slept, the couch was stiff. His neck hurt, and his mind never fully rested. He kept waking throughout the night, listening to make sure Lyra was still breathing peacefully. Every time he heard her soft movements or saw her faint glow through the blanket, a sense of calm washed over him. He had brought someone vulnerable into his home, someone who trusted him now, and that responsibility sat deep in his chest. He rose quietly, not wanting to disturb her. He prepared a small breakfast of warmed grain cakes and fruit paste from his ration box. The smell slowly drifted through the room, and just as Callan set the plates on the table, Lyra shifted on the bed. Her glow brightened slightly before her eyes even opened, as if she sensed safety before being fully awake. When she sat up, she pulled the blanket around her shoulders, blinking softly at the morning light. You slept okay? Callan asked gently. She nodded, her voice still sleepy. It was warm and quiet. I didn't dream anything bad. She hesitated, as if embarrassed. I haven't slept that peacefully in I don't know how long. Callan smiled a little. Good. You needed it. Lyra stepped off the bed and approached the table slowly. She looked shy, unsure if she should sit without asking. Callan nodded to the chair, encouraging her. Sit, eat. It's not much, but it'll help. She sat down and tasted a grain cake. Her glow brightened with surprise. This is good, she said. I didn't think humans liked sweet things too. We like a lot of things, Callan chuckled. We're simple creatures. Lyra smiled softly at his joke. Her eyes followed him as he poured water into 2 cups. You didn't sleep, she said quietly. I slept enough, he lied. She lowered her gaze. You took care of me again. Even though you worked hard yesterday, Callan shrugged slightly. That's what promises are for. Lyra froze for a moment. Her glow pulsed with emotion. She never seemed ready for how easily he kept repeating his vow. To her, promises were sacred symbols of devotion. To humans, they were expressions of the heart. She didn't know which version his promise belonged to, but she knew he meant it. After breakfast, Callan prepared to leave for his engineering shift. He checked his toolkit, strapped on his utility belt, and put on his work boots. Lyra watched every movement carefully, as if afraid he might disappear and never return. You'll be safe here, he assured her. Lock the door when I leave. Only open it if you hear me say your name. She nodded, her glow dimming with anxious uncertainty. I don't want to be a burden. You're not, Callan said immediately. Not one bit. She inhaled slowly. I'll try to cook something for you. Or clean. I want to be helpful. Callan smiled gently. You don't have to do anything. Just rest. We'll figure out everything else later. She looked down, but a small glow of gratitude brightened her cheeks. Be careful, she whispered. Callan paused, surprised by how gentle her voice sounded. I will. When he left, Lyra sat in the quiet room, hands folded nervously. The moment the door clicked shut, she felt the silence press in around her. She wasn't used to being alone in a safe place. Normally, She was alone in frightening places, markets, alleys, dark corners of stations, always watching for anyone who might take advantage of her vulnerability. Now, she was in a home. A human home. Warm. Clean. Quiet. A place filled with someone's life. She stood slowly and explored the small apartment. His tools were arranged with care. His clothes folded neatly in a crate, and his work table covered in mechanical parts. She found a small photo on a shelf, Callan with a young girl who resembled him. Lyra touched the edge of the photo gently. The girl's smile was warm, full of life. "That's my sister," came Callan's voice behind her. Lyra gasped, spinning around. She hadn't heard him return. But when she saw the sadness in his eyes, she understood something heavy lived inside him. "She looks kind," Lyra said softly. "She was," Callan murmured. "She passed away a few years ago." Lyra's glow dimmed with sympathy. "I'm sorry," Callan nodded, trying to smile. "I try not to think about it too much." He cleared his throat. "I forgot my work pass. That's why I came back." Lyra set the photo down gently. "She must have been important to you. She was the reason I became someone who doesn't walk away from people," Callan said quietly. Lyra blinked, understanding more than he meant to reveal. Before she could speak, he found his pass, gave her a small wave, and left again. This time, she felt the weight of the silence differently, deeper, more meaningful. She wanted to honor the kindness he was showing her. She wanted to be someone who made his home feel lighter, not heavier. She began cleaning. Not because he asked, but because it made her feel useful. She folded his scattered clothes, arranged his tools neatly, wiped the counters, and even fixed a loose panel on the wall with her natural Illyrian energy. Her glow pulsed gently into the metal, smoothing it. She didn't use much of her energy, just enough to help. As she worked, she thought about how Callan treated her not as a problem, not as a stranger, but as someone deserving care. No one had ever spoken to her the way he did. His promise echoed in her mind. "I'll make you happy, no matter the cost. You're safe with me." She felt warm inside, her glow shimmering softly. Meanwhile, Callan's day at work grew complicated fast. When he arrived at his station, his supervisor, Melran, frowned at him. "Ward, I heard you were seen last night bringing an Illyrian girl into your quarters." Callan stiffened. "She needed help." "Station rules are clear," Melran warned. "Unauthorized aliens must report to the embassy. You can't just take them home." Callan kept his voice calm. She wasn't safe, and she didn't break any laws. "Still, it doesn't look good," Melran muttered. Callan felt tension build in his chest. He didn't want Lyra in trouble. He didn't want anyone dragging her away because she trusted him. "I'll handle it," he said finally. "You'd better," Melran said. "Station gossip travels fast." Callan returned to his repairs, but his mind stayed on Lyra. He imagined her alone, worried, cleaning the room because she thought she needed to earn her right to stay. He hated the idea of her feeling she had to repay him. When his shift ended, he rushed home faster than usual. When he opened the door, he froze. The room wasn't just clean, it looked brighter, warmer. Lyra stood by the window, holding a small tray with tea she had warmed using Illyrian energy. Her glow sparkled softly when she saw him. "You're home," she said with a shy smile. "I made something for you." Callan blinked, surprised. "Lyra, you didn't have to do all this." "I wanted to," she replied softly. "You helped me. You gave me a safe place. I wanted to make it nice for you too." Callan exhaled slowly, touched. "Thank you. Really." She handed him the tea, her fingers brushing his lightly. Her glow brightened as she felt the warmth of his skin. She pulled her hand back quickly, embarrassed, but Callan gave her a gentle smile to ease her worry. They sat at the table together. Lyra watched him with curiosity. "Did you have a good day at work?" she asked cautiously. "It was long," he said honestly. "And people are talking. They saw us last night." Lyra's glow dimmed. "I didn't mean to cause trouble." "You didn't," Callan said firmly. They just don't understand. She bit her lip. Will they take me away? Kalen shook his head. Not if I can help it. Her eyes softened. You keep saying that. You keep protecting me. That's what I promised, he said simply. Lyra lowered her gaze, overwhelmed again. In my culture, making such a promise means you are tying your life path to mine. It's a huge thing for us. I don't want you to regret it. Kalen reached across the table and gently tapped her hand. I'm not tying myself to you because of your culture. I'm choosing to help because it's the right thing. And because I care. Lyra's glow shimmered beautifully, reflecting the emotion she couldn't hide. Humans really feel things deeply, she whispered. You'd be surprised, he said with a soft laugh. Lyra smiled, relaxing slightly. For a moment, the room felt warm and peaceful, but peace on Station Rydell never lasted long. A sudden, sharp beep came from the wall console. Kalen stood and checked the alert. His face tightened when he read the message. Security is requesting an interview, he said quietly. Lyra's glow flickered in fear. About me? Kalen nodded. They want to know why I took you in. Lyra stepped closer, trembling. Please don't let them send me back. My people will shame me forever. They will call me dim, weak, unfit. I don't want to go back to that life. Kalen looked down at her desperate eyes, at the trembling glow across her skin. Something fierce rose inside him, protective, determined, unshakable. I'm not letting anyone take you, he said firmly. You're safe with me. I meant every word. Lyra's glow steadied, warmed, and grew brighter than he had ever seen. She whispered, almost trembling from emotion. Then, I believe you. Kalen placed a hand gently on her shoulder. Good. Because we're going to face whatever comes next together. Neither of them knew how difficult the next days would be, or how deeply the station's politics would twist around them. They didn't yet understand how much pressure would build, how many eyes were already watching them. But for now, Lyra felt protected, and Kalen felt certain of his promise, even if the cost grew heavier. When the message from station security arrived, Kalen felt a heavy knot settle in his chest. He didn't want Lyra to see his worry, but she read emotion the same way she sensed light clearly and instantly. Her glow trembled, dimming toward fear even before he said anything more. They want to question me, he repeated softly, lowering the screen. They just want information. It doesn't mean they'll take you away. Lyra wrapped her arms around herself. But that's usually what happens. First they ask questions. Then they separate people. Kalen stepped closer and placed a steady hand on her shoulder. I won't let that happen. I'll make them understand. Her glow steadied slightly, though fear still lingered in her eyes. I don't want to hide anymore, she whispered. But I don't want to be seen either. I don't know what to do. You don't have to do anything, Kalen said gently. Just stay here until I come back. Lock the door. Trust me. She nodded, then hesitated. Kalen, if something goes wrong, it won't, he said firmly, even though a small part of him feared the opposite. I promised I'd protect your happiness. I meant that. Lyra didn't speak again. She simply reached out and lightly touched his hand before stepping back. Her glow brightened softly, a sign of trust. Kalen felt the weight of that trust settle deep inside him as he left the room. He walked through the station corridors with his jaw set. People whispered as he passed, some curious, some judgmental. Humans and aliens alike had noticed the Illyrian girl's glow following him last night, and rumors spread quickly on a station like Rydell. When he reached the security office, he stood straight, refusing to show discomfort. The door slid open, revealing two officers. One human. One from the scaled, cold-voiced Branth species. Kalen Ward, the human officer said. Thank you for coming. Kalen nodded. You asked for me. I'm here. The Branth officer narrowed his silver eyes. You were seen escorting an Illyrian female last night. She was not registered at the station. That is a violation of entry protocol. Kalen kept his voice calm. She was abandoned. She had no documents, No belongings. No safety. I brought her somewhere warm. That's not a crime. The Branth clicked his tongue. It may not be a crime, but it is suspicious. Illyrians are protected by interspecies agreements. You cannot shelter one without notifying the embassy. Kalen clenched his fist slightly. I had no intention of hiding her. I just didn't want her freezing in a cargo bay. The human officer leaned forward. Where is she now? Kalen hesitated for half a second. The pause was enough. So you are hiding her? The Branth officer hissed. No, Kalen said sharply. I'm protecting someone who trusted me. The human officer sighed. Kalen, we're not trying to get you in trouble. But the Illyrian High Guard contacted us this morning. They say the girl is breaking cultural law by accepting shelter from a stranger. Kalen felt something hot and defensive rising in his chest. Cultural law? She was scared and alone. What kind of culture punishes someone for surviving? That is not for you to decide, the Branth officer snapped. She must be returned. Kalen stared at him. I won't tell you where she is. The room fell silent for a dangerous moment. You know, obstructing an official inquiry can cost your job, the human officer warned gently. Kalen, don't do this. My job isn't worth more than someone's safety, Kalen said quietly. The officers exchanged looks. The Branth typed something into his datapad. We will escalate this to the Illyrian Council. They will demand her return officially. Kalen's heart hammered painfully. If the council stepped in, the situation could become impossible. But he forced himself to stay composed. I'm not giving up on her. We'll be in contact, the human officer said. For now, you're free to go. But you are under observation. Kalen walked out with stiff shoulders, anger and worry burning under his skin. Meanwhile, Lyra paced anxiously in the apartment. Every sound in the corridor made her glow flicker. She wrung her hands, imagining security dragging Kalen away because of her. She knew Illyrian culture well. They valued order and tradition far above personal well-being. If they accused Kalen of interfering with an Illyrian, he might face punishment too. Her glow dimmed into a soft shade of guilt. When Kalen finally returned, she rushed forward before he could speak. Did they hurt you? Did they threaten you? Kalen, please tell me you're okay. He managed a small smile and held her shoulders gently. I'm okay. They just asked questions. They want answers I'm not giving. Her glow pulsed with worry. Because of me. Because I care, he corrected softly. Lyra's breath trembled. I don't know why you're doing this. No one fights for me. Then they should have, Kalen said firmly. You deserve someone who refuses to walk away. She lowered her head, her glowing cheeks warming the air between them. She whispered, I wish I understood humans better. You're learning, he said with a soft chuckle. For a moment, they stood close, neither moving away. Then Lyra stepped back shyly. What happens now? She asked. We stay calm, Kalen said, and we prepare. The Illyrian Council might try to force you back. Lyra hugged herself. If they take me, they will bind my life to someone chosen for me. I won't have any choices left. I don't want that. You won't go anywhere, Kalen said, voice steady with determination. She stared at him with wide eyes full of fragile hope. Why do you try so hard for me? Kalen took a slow breath. Because you deserve happiness. And because I made a promise. Her glow rippled, full of emotion she didn't know how to hide. The next morning, the station woke to a shock. A message spread across public screens. Illyrian High Guard arrival confirmed retrieval order issued for an unregistered Illyrian female. Lyra read the announcement with trembling hands. Kalen's jaw tightened in anger. They're coming today, she whispered, her glow shrinking into a frightened flicker. Kalen, they'll take me. They'll say I disrespected tradition. They'll punish me for accepting your kindness. He grabbed her hands firmly. I'm not letting them take you. But Kalen. No, he said sharply, then softened his voice. I gave you a promise. That means I stand with you, even when it costs me. Her eyes filled with tears, she tried to blink away. I don't want you hurt because of me. Kalen cupped her cheek gently, the warmth of his hand surprising her. Sometimes helping someone costs something, and I'm fine with that. Lyra closed her eyes, leaning slightly into his touch, a gesture she didn't fully realize she made. Her glow brightened softly against his palm. "Thank you," she whispered. Before Kalen could reply, a harsh knock echoed through the hall. Both of them stiffened. "Open the door," a cold Illyrian voice commanded from outside. By order of the High Guard, Lyra backed away instantly, trembling so much her glow flickered chaotically. "Kalen! Kalen! Please don't let them take me!" Kalen stepped in front of her, shielding her with his own body. His heart pounded fiercely, but his voice was calm. "Stay behind me." The knocking grew louder. The command repeated. Kalen didn't move. After several tense moments, the knocking stopped. The voices quieted. A small device pinged outside, scanning the lock. Kalen braced himself, preparing for what might come. But then, silence. The High Guard retreated for now. They were likely preparing something more official, something bigger. Kalen slowly exhaled. Lyra collapsed against him, gripping his shirt with trembling fingers. Her glow was dim, scared, desperate. "They won't stop," she whispered. "They'll keep trying." "They can try," Kalen said, wrapping his arms around her protectively. "But they won't take you while I live." Her glow burst into bright, emotional light at those words. Fear, gratitude, disbelief, and something deeper all mixed together. She buried her face against him, letting herself be held for the first time in her life. Kalen closed his eyes. He could feel her heart racing. He could feel her trust. In that moment, the promise he made, simple words spoken in a dark cargo bay, became something far greater. Something binding. Something that connected them both. When they finally separated, Lyra's glow steadied. "What are we going to do?" she asked softly. Kalen looked determined. "We fight. We argue. We stand our ground. Whatever it takes." Lyra nodded slowly. Her glow brightened with a fragile, rising courage. "Then, I'll stand with you too. Even if I'm scared." Kalen smiled gently. "Good. We'll face this together." Outside their door, the station lights dimmed. Rumors spread like wildfire. The High Guard prepared their next move, and Kalen Ward tightened his promise in his heart, ready to pay any price, because he meant every word. The tension on Station Rydell grew heavier with each passing hour. Everyone knew the Illyrian High Guard had come for one purpose: to retrieve a girl who didn't want to be retrieved. Rumors spread fast, twisting into wild stories of humans stealing alien maidens or Illyrians claiming ownership over vulnerable travelers. Kalen ignored the whispers. His focus was on Lyra, who sat quietly by the window, her glow flickering with anxiety. She watched the station's faint lights beyond the glass, her hands clasped tightly together. "I never wanted this," she whispered. "I didn't mean to cause trouble for anyone." "You didn't cause anything," Kalen said gently. "You were abandoned, and you asked for help in the only way you knew how." Lyra looked down, her glow dim. "My people say asking for help makes you weak. Then your people are wrong," Kalen said simply. She blinked up at him, surprised by the certainty in his voice. Kalen stepped toward her, slowly, so she wouldn't feel pressured. "Strength isn't refusing help. Strength is surviving long enough to accept it." Lyra held his gaze for a long moment. Something soft, fragile, and warm shimmered through her glow. "Kalen, can I ask you something?" "Anything." "If they take me," she swallowed, her glow shrinking in fear. "What will you do?" Kalen didn't hesitate. "I'll fight it." She shook her head. "They have guards, laws, ships. They have power. I have a promise," he said firmly. "And I don't break promises." Lyra's breath shivered, her glow warming his chest with soft light. She didn't speak again, but she didn't need to. He understood exactly what she feared. That afternoon, an official message arrived ordering both of them to appear in the station's central council hall. The Illyrian High Guard would present their claim. Lyra trembled when she heard it. "They'll force me to follow tradition," she whispered. "They'll say I disrespected my path. I'll be bound to someone who doesn't even know me. I'll never be free." Kaelin placed a hand on her cheek, steady and warm. You're not alone anymore. We'll face them, together. Her glow brightened, hopeful but scared. She nodded slowly. Hours later, the council hall filled with people, humans, aliens from neighboring sectors, diplomats, officers. The air buzzed with curiosity and tension. Kaelin and Lyra stood side by side inside the large transparent barrier that separated presenters from the audience. Lyra's glow flickered wildly as 3 Illyrian high guards stepped forward, dressed in ceremonial armor that shimmered with shifting colors. Behind them, an Illyrian elder approached a tall, graceful figure with a calm face and bright, steady glow. The elder began speaking. We come to retrieve Lyra of the 7th pool. She has violated cultural law by accepting shelter from a stranger and forming an emotional bond without approval. Whispers spread across the hall. Emotional bond? Kaelin glanced at Lyra. She looked shocked. The elder continued. Our records show her glow pattern has been influenced by the presence of this human. Such influence is considered a premature bonding. This is unacceptable. Kaelin stepped forward before he even realized he was moving. I didn't force her into anything. I helped her because she needed it. The Branth security officer murmured from the sidelines. This is why we warned him. The Illyrian elder raised a hand. Human, your intentions may have been kind, but your kind does not understand Illyrian bonds. When you made your promise, she accepted it as truth. That alone shaped her emotional glow. You have tied yourself to her spirit. Lyra gasped softly, turning to Kaelin. Her glow fluttered in confusion and wonder. I didn't know, she whispered. Kaelin breathed out slowly. Neither did I. But I don't regret it. A ripple of shocked murmurs moved across the hall. The elder's expression changed slightly. As if Kaelin had spoken an unexpected truth, one of the high guard stepped forward. Despite his sincerity, the law is clear. She must return. Lyra's glow shrank, trembling in fear. Kaelin placed himself between her and the high guard. More instinctively than logically. No, he said firmly. The hall fell silent. You don't get to take someone who doesn't want to go, Kaelin continued. She deserves freedom. She deserves happiness. And she deserves to choose her own path. This is not humanity's decision. The guard snapped. It is ours. Kaelin's voice stayed calm. Maybe, but you're not listening to her. You're only listening to your rules. Lyra stepped beside him, gathering what courage she had. Her glow brightened slowly. Elder, I do not want to return, she said softly. I do not want a life chosen by others. I want to find my own way. Kaelin helped me see that. Quote, the high guard murmured in disbelief. Illyrians rarely refused cultural directives. You are naive, the guard argued. Humans are unpredictable. They make promises lightly. His words mean nothing. Lyra shook her head. You are wrong. Kaelin's words changed everything. He saw me when no one else did. He helped me without expecting anything in return. I felt safe for the first time in my life. Her glow rose brighter, reflecting deep emotion. The elder looked thoughtful now. He studied Kaelin, then Lyra. Kaelin Ward, he said. Do you understand what it means to make such a promise to an Illyrian? No, Kaelin admitted honestly. But I understand what promises mean to humans. When I told her I'd make her happy, I meant it. The elder's glow pulsed with calm reflection. Many humans speak with conviction, but few follow it with action. Most would have left her. Yet you defied your own authorities to protect her. Kaelin didn't flinch. Because her happiness matters more than my comfort. Number. The hall buzzed with whispers. Even the human representative seemed moved. The Illyrian elder clasped his hands behind his back. In ancient times, he said slowly, our people admired humans for their loyalty. Their hearts, though brief in lifespan, burned fiercely with devotion. But our societies drifted apart. Our traditions hardened. Our bonds became rules rather than choices. He turned to Lyra, whose glow shimmered like a trembling star. You wish to choose your own path? He asked gently. Lyra nodded. Yes, Elder. I choose my own future. I choose freedom. And I choose to stay with Kaelin. At least until I understand my new path better. Her glow spread warmly across the hall, soft, bright, full of sincerity. The elder closed his eyes a moment, then opened them with quiet resolve. Then I will honor your choice. The High Guard stiffened. Elder, this goes against protocol. Protocol must bend when it harms the spirit, the elder replied firmly. We have forgotten the purpose of our laws. It is not to trap our children, but to guide them. If this girl finds strength and clarity in her connection with a human, who are we to deny it? A wave of astonished murmurs filled the hall. Lyra covered her mouth with trembling hands. Her glow burst into a radiant, joyful light. Kaelin felt his throat tighten. He hadn't realized how tense he had been, until relief washed through him in a warm rush. The elder faced the council. Lyra is granted full freedom of choice. She may remain with Callan Ward if she wishes. The High Guard is ordered to stand down. The guards lowered their weapons grudgingly. The hall vibrated with surprise, awe, even admiration. Lyra turned to Callan slowly, emotion shining in her eyes. I'm free, she whispered. Truly free. Kaelin smiled, gentle and warm. Yes, you are. She stepped closer, her glow reaching toward him like a soft embrace. You kept your promise. Even when it was hard. Even when it cost you. Kaelin shook his head. It wasn't a cost. It was, she insisted softly. But you still stayed. You still meant every word. Her glow brightened until it filled the space around them with soft, warm light. She took his hands, her voice trembling with emotion. Then I want to make a promise too. He blinked. Lyra, you don't have to. I want to, she said gently. Because of you, I'm not afraid anymore. Because of you, I smile again. So I promise, I will make you happy too. No matter how long it takes. Kaelin felt something warm settle in his chest, soft, powerful, grounding. I believe you, he murmured. The hall watched in silence as human and Illyrian stood together. Two lights, one glowing, one steady, blending into something new. When they left the council chamber, people stepped aside respectfully. Some smiled, some bowed, some simply watched the unusual but beautiful sight of a human and an Illyrian choosing each other freely. Lyra squeezed Callan's hand gently as they walked. Kaelin, she whispered. Yes, I'm ready for my new life. He smiled. We'll build it together. And with that, they stepped forward into a future shaped, not by fear or tradition, but by a promise kept, a promise returned, and a bond strong enough to bridge even the distance between stars.